When our children need to develop patience and the ability to adapt, they can learn to do it with laughter. If someone disappears in Hampton Roads, there's a group of dedicated volunteers who go on the pursuit. Hi, I'm Chris Anderson, and today we're in Newport News at the Mariners Museum and Park. I'm here on the Nolan Trail beside Mariners Lake. I'm going to introduce you to some individuals who are responsible for maintaining this beautiful public space. Welcome to Hometown Heroes.
This episode of Hometown Heroes is made possible by the Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles.
There are people dedicated to making others' lives better every day. They face challenges and make sacrifices to help those in need. Our heroes devote their skills, time, and sometimes their lives to service. In our own backyard or faraway places, theirs are stories of service. Join us on Your View, Virginia, and be inspired by our own hometown heroes.
So many things have become stressful, and I think we could all use a little serenity in our lives. And a walk through a park on a beautiful trail might be just the ticket. And the ticket on the Nolan Trail doesn't cost you anything. It's free to take a run, go for a hike, or even a stroll through some of the most beautifully maintained trails in our area. I'm here with Josh Bailey. He is the lead trail technician here at Mariners Park. Thanks for being with us, Josh.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
And how long have you been here at Mariners Park?
Been here for about 5 years.
Can you explain a little bit about what you do here at the trail?
So I am the lead technician for the Nolan Trail. I am basically here to maintain the trail, make sure that it's safe from any routes, tripping hazards, and basically just keep it safe for everybody to come and enjoy.
So what is it about the Nolan Trail that makes this a destination for people right here in Newport News?
The great thing about the Nolan Trail is that tons of people know about it, but we've had a huge uptick in the amount of attendance here due to the pandemic. I always like to say that we give people a sanctuary and a place to basically come, kind of relax, not take things so seriously. We offer as far as exercise, running, hiking. We have numerous people that come out and train for the military. We also have people that come out and just want to enjoy nature and get away from everything. So this is pretty much our sanctuary in the city. I like to call it the Central Park of Newport News.
And if you had to hit on some of the highlights of the trail, what would you recommend people coming out to see?
Oh, definitely our overlooks. We have an overlook that's actually right behind us called Tree Overlook. It's got a beautiful view of the lake, a beautiful view of the Lions Bridge. It's just an incredible spot. We have other spots as far as gardens that we're now installing, and one of the other things that we've noticed too is the trail and the museum itself have kind of shifted almost to like a educational purpose. So we're not only just a museum, but we're also educational for programs that we have not only in the park but at the museum too.
So can you tell us about any of the new upcoming projects here at the trail?
Absolutely. So we've got a resurfacing project where I've been tasked to make sure that the trail has been resurfaced using a clay sand product and stone dust for the first mile. That will continue through next year, and then every year after that we will continue a mile per year to complete the full 5-mile loop.
Josh, thank you for your time and thank you for the information. I'm really looking forward to hitting this new trail when it gets resurfaced.
Great. Can't wait to see you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Discovering new things is important. When teachers bring their skills into the classroom, our children's minds can expand to new places and exciting new adventures.
When I started teaching, I realized that I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I can do this. I was like, I'm kind of naturally good at this.
Yes, Aiden. To carry the idea. Correct, Aiden. You want to keep the scene going. So if someone said, no, I don't want to, it stops the scene and then you have nowhere to go. But if you guys continue to say yes and, the scene can go longer and it can be a lot more interesting.
So when I first met Angela, I knew there was something special about her. Her heart just, it shone brightly. I could see just the deep, deep passion for teaching in everything that she did, whether it was dance, drama, theater, everything. The students, they feed off of that energy, and they enjoyed being around her.
Today we're going to explore the introduction to improv, as well as we're going to touch on emotions and how different emotions are used in the shows and the plays when we're speaking, so how we bring the words to life with emotions.
Acting improv is what again, Dahlia?
You pretend to be a character or something?
You pretend to be a character, but is it scripted? No, it's actually getting on stage and performing without any preparation or planning. Everyone say it together.
That was a good idea!
I was a performer, so I performed on the stage. I went to a lot of auditions, and I was booked in professional shows, and so I did that for most of my life. A good 15 years of my life was on stage performing, like 8 shows a week. Teaching and being on stage, for me, is similar because, first of all, I have an audience every day. My class is my audience as well as my students, but I think of them as audience members, so I get a chance to share with them my talents and my gifts, just like I would do on stage. They go together. It's like your teacher, you're in front of a class, you're in front of an audience. Drama helps with all, I think every subject. First of all, we're reading plays, we're reading the scripts, we are learning the main topic of a play, the plot, the climax, all of those English words that are important to them, but they get to do it on their feet, which is awesome. It's not just in a book. They get to bring it to life. If you have a child, especially in acting, that is a little bit shy or a little self-conscious, and they come out of their box and learn how to be creative and express themselves, for me, that's like a huge deal.
When I'm hiring teachers here for the school, one of the main things that I look for is just their passion and enthusiasm for teaching. That is not taught, it is something that is innate in a person.
Repeat after me. Wish I was on the radio.
I wish I was on the radio.
I wish I was on the radio.
I wish I was on the radio.
If someone was thinking about being a teacher or becoming a teacher, I would encourage them to teach something that they love, first of all, something that they feel passionate about, because when you feel passionate about that subject, you're going to give it all you got. You're going to give 110% every day, and it takes that every day. You're going to need to give your students 110%. I decided to share my gifts with others, with the next generation, and that meant a lot to me. So I decided to teach. And then I started out just subbing or part-time, and then I realized that I could do this. I could do this longer and full-time.
Say and. Say and. And. I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time.
Okay.
If you're interested in teaching, find a place to volunteer. See if it's a good fit. And when we come back, we'll meet the arborist who's responsible for all these trees.
This episode of Hometown Heroes is made possible by the Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles.
Welcome back to Hometown Heroes. I'm here on the Nolan Trail with Graham King. He is the park arborist for the Mariners Museum and Park. Thanks for being with us, Graham.
Thanks for visiting, Chris.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do here at the park?
Well, I help maintain this 550-acre park, and that entails everything from storm recovery to tree plantings, invasive species removal lately, which has been a lot of fun, and we're getting into some more restoration projects.
And how did you become the park arborist for the park?
Well, I took sort of a long, meandering path, and a lot of luck involved with that, but in general, I have a background in turf maintenance and working with the tree service, and from there, I basically fell into this job just from my sister working here, and I got lucky through that. And since coming here, I've basically been supported by all the leadership and co-workers around me to finish my education as well as get my arborist certification.
And how many arborists are there here at the park?
I'm the first arborist since 1935.
It's pretty impressive. So if somebody wanted to follow in your footsteps, not the roundabout path, but a more direct path to becoming an arborist, how would one go about doing that?
Well, the most direct way is to get a 4-year degree in forestry. There's lots of universities that offer it, but if you don't know exactly what you want to do, but something in the field of green space like this, everything from a biology degree to environmental science is really relevant to our park.
And you mentioned that this is a 550 acre.
Yeah, so 550 acres, 167 acres of that is our lake, and we have roughly over 300 acres of forested land.
So if one of our viewers at home wanted to get into green space working, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I'd say the best and easiest way to get your foot in the door is to volunteer at a park like this. We have a lot of opportunities for people that are varying degrees of able-bodiedness. But working with both Josh and myself and our supervisor, and as well as internships for students, you can get involved in this park and working around this park in many different ways.
So you're saying there's plenty of volunteer opportunities right here at the Mariners Museum and Park?
Yes, there is more than enough volunteer opportunities for all the interested volunteers in the city to come and help us keep this park maintained.
Well, I appreciate your time, Graham. Thank you for being here, and I'll let you get to it because it looks like there's a lot of work to be done.
Oh yeah.
In this environment, staying on the path is important because at some point all these trees start to look the same. And in this area, if you find yourself too far off the beaten path, you'll end up needing the services of Tidewater Search and Rescue. The men and women who volunteer there are certified in finding lost or missing persons in rural and urban environments.
All right, Vicki, you want to, if you want to come this way up on the, at the bottom of this little hill.
We are simulating a lost hiker, and we have teams from CERT and from Tidewater Search and Rescue out actively searching for a lost person. One thing that I do is I put the areas on here, so the person in the team can look and be like, oh, I'm standing inside my area.
As that person moves along the shoreline, the rest of us will move in a straight line, covering that area. I joined Gloucester CERT back in 2006, just as a way to help our community. And they really are the first line of defense if there's ever any type of natural disaster or terrorist attack, anything like that. And they're expected to be the first responders until first responders can arrive. We'll start working towards where that trail cuts across. We'll start sweeping back this way. All right, ready on the left? Ready on the right? All right, let's move forward. All right, go ahead and space out a little bit more, guys. Base, Charlie.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Base, Team Charlie's found a water bottle. Let me know if you're ready for coordinates.
Go ahead.
Coordinates are 64904594. We will flag the clue.
That'll be clue 3.
I entered in the location of what they found with the description so that we can see it on the map, and they were advised to flag it. So they're going to use flagging tape. They're going to mark the time, the date, what team it was, and our clue number on it.
The first thing that we do is we look at the efforts that have been done already. We interview law enforcement, and we also see if we can interview the last person that saw them. We try to gain as much information about the person as possible. It's particularly important to know what they're wearing, what their habits are, and also if they have any medical conditions that we need to consider that might make the search more urgent.
All All right, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call back and let everybody know that we found you, okay? And then we're gonna get a stretcher because I think you're a little weak, so we're gonna help you get out of here.
I would say that if you have any interest at all in doing this, I welcome the opportunity to have people join Tidewater Search and Rescue or any other search and rescue group within the state of Virginia. It's still rewarding because you know that the families don't have to wonder where their relative has gone. You know, anybody that wants to do it, I highly recommend it. It has been, for me, with almost 20 years in search and rescue, it has been a wonderful feeling to be able to be a part of it and to go out and find these subjects and to help these families out. It's been a wonderful experience.
When Tidewater Search and Rescue brings a lost person home, it's such an amazing thing to witness. Stay with us. We'll return with more in just a moment.
This episode of Hometown Heroes is made possible by the Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles.
What does it take to maintain specialized equipment used by industry professionals? The experts at the Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory at Langley Air Force Base can show us how. Let's take a look.
PML Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory. So basically we're a calibration lab. We directly support the F-22s, but we also branch out and support other shops and other units. We just basically maintain the accuracy of anything that measures.
We have safety checks in place, including QA, to make sure that our equipment that comes in, if it's not working right, that it's repaired. If it's kind of out of tolerance, that it's adjusted and calibrated. And then the customer gets a piece of equipment that they can be sure that's reading correctly. We want to make sure that our standards are up to par to NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. That's kind of our parent to the PML calibration world. That base measurement standard is going to be used to calibrate our equipment, and then we're going to use our equipment to calibrate the customer's equipment.
One of the big units that we support is, of course, the maintenance group, the medical group, but also we also support individual flights and shops within those, as in bioenvironmental. We calibrate air quality meters, gas monitors, stuff like that, so they can maintain that safety whenever they're doing their safety surveys for each shop. We basically calibrate the stuff that they go off of does it pass or fail, is it safe or unsafe.
It's going to be a different K-Pro for every single item, whether it be something for the customer or something for ours. We have to make sure that there's a written directive for how to actually calibrate that item. Everything in there has to be really accurate, really safe, really reliable, all the way down to microvolts, which would be like 0.000001 volt. But we calibrate all the way down to that to make sure that once it gets to the customer, it's really reliable and it's safe and it's ready to use.
The attention to detail and the increments they work with at PML amazes me. When we come back, we'll meet the man at the helm of the Mariners Museum and Park.
This episode of Hometown Heroes is made possible by the Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles.
Welcome back. We've shown you the beautiful grounds and the trails outside in the park, and now we've moved inside the museum. And we're here in the Monitor Center with the president of the Mariners Museum, Mr. Howard Hagee. Thanks for being here, Howard.
Absolutely, welcome.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the museum.
Sure, we were founded in 1930. At the time, Archer Huntington owned Newport News Shipbuilding. Homer Ferguson was the president of Newport News Shipbuilding. And in 1930, it's the midst of the Great Depression, and they've got the shipyard full of workers that aren't building any ships. So they brought them here to the museum's campus and put the workers to work building the Mariners Lake and building the museum itself. It was essentially a private works project, an opportunity to keep this skilled labor force together, but also to take care of the workers and their families.
So the community literally is tied into the fabric, the foundation of this building and what it provides.
Absolutely, and we've carried that forward today through the museum's mission. So we say today that we connect people to the world's waters because through the waters, through our shared maritime heritage, we're connected to one another. And we think this is really powerful, right? It's a powerful narrative about how our community is bound together at a moment in time when we feel distant from one another and a little bit fractured. This shared connection to the water transcends race, ethnicity, gender, age, socioeconomics, right? All of the different ways that we're sometimes made to feel different from one another.
Absolutely. And this area that we're standing in now is the Monitor Center. Explain a little bit about what the Monitor Center is.
Sure, so many people are going to be familiar with the Monitor and the Merrimack, or the battle between the Monitor and the Virginia, the Battle of the Ironclads. And even though that battle was fought to the draw, they called the Monitor the little ship that saved the nation. In late 1862, she sank off the coast of North Carolina. And in the early 2000s, they began recovering artifacts, over 200 tons of iron off of the seafloor from the shipwreck of the Monitor, including the iconic turret. And that's all here now being conserved for posterity.
What does the future hold for the museum?
I'll tell you right now, we are focused on 2030. In 2030, we enter our second century. And so we are excited about wrapping up some elements of the Monitor conservation and hope that some of these large artifacts that we're conserving now can roll into the gallery that we're in here. We have a real opportunity, I think, to continue to try to serve our community. One of the ways that we're trying to serve the community is that we've lowered the price of admission to $1 per person. We did that to try to provide access to the community, right? And we chose $1 instead of just making it free because we wanted to carry this message of the mission, right? And so we say that through the waters, we're one city, one region, one nation, one world, $1.
$1.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Howard. I appreciate your time and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
We've had an incredible day here at the Mariners Museum and Park. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the staff for being so welcoming. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Hometown Heroes. Remember, there are heroes in all walks of life. Discover what you can do to help others. Become your own hometown hero.